Yes, 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 yes. Welcome. Open up your ears. Open your mind and allow. Feel the music. Let the music bathe you and allow connection to the original you. I allow myself to be my best self. To be creative. And to let go. I allow myself to live an elevated life, to stay focused and clear, always moving towards a goal. I allow myself to let go and to learn to live and to grow. I allow myself time and space. I allow. Yes, yes, yes. It's that time again to allow. I allow myself to feel. To express myself. And to use the talents that I possess. allow myself to make love out of the things that are not love. Yes, 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 yes. I allow myself to be creative, live in the moment. I allow, I allow, I allow, I allow, I allow, I allow, I allow. Allow yourself to breathe. Take a deep, deep breath and feel the breath. And exhale. And feel the exhale of letting go. And let's take another deep, deep lung filling breath. I allow myself to be authentic, transparent. That energizes us. And now let's exhale. Blow it out through your mouth like you're whistling. That's releasing, letting go of all the things that are no longer desired. Things that may no longer be useful. It's not that they're good or bad. Just let go so that we can grab a hold of the nowness of this moment, this present time. This is the gift. When we allow now to be now, we allow ourselves to tap in to this moment, this place, this time. That's how it becomes your time, your space. As you begin to tap into you, the authentic you, you allow yourself to live again, to be born into this new season, which has never existed before. This new you, this new we, has never existed before. Allow this newness to take hold and to take over and to fill you up. Feel the lightning begin to strike in your solar plexus and your triple warmer, and that electricity that connects us to all things. Let it flow. I'd like to welcome all of you here for a little natural insights with Elevation Time and the Elevation Time family. Those of you who are new to the family, welcome. This is a very special group of people who happen to be here now and awake and aware. This particular space we're in is very special. So many special things happening. And we have to be careful because the mainstream will have you caught up in the mass distraction and the illusions. But right now, we have a wonderful, beautiful, amazing chance to start again in this new season that they call summer. If you're new, we'd like to know who you are. So if you're new here, let us know that you're here for the first time and how you found out about this webcast. If you've been here many times before, if you're a VIP or a veteran or any type of person that knows and feels and has experienced before this particular webcast, and let us know where you coming from, where you listening from. We have folks a lot of times from all over the world, and the audience is building bigger and stronger than ever. It's like the Celestine prophecy, where there's an energy pulling certain folks together. Certain folks are falling off, falling apart. Certain things are breaking off as we move from one season to the other. And yes, we're talking about moving from spring into summer, but we're also talking about moving from the Iron Age into the Golden Age. It's not here yet, but it is definitely on the way. And I know a lot of us are feeling it. How many of you out there are feeling this shift that is happening on all levels? There was a announcement the other day, and this was in mainstream news, that the scientists are amazed because the earth is spinning faster than they've ever seen. They didn't even know this was possible. They're noticing that the poles are shifting. So the North Pole used to be, basically pointing towards the North Star, and now it's moving. They say it's moving towards a star or a position called Cephas. It's changing. Everything is changing. So it's not just the season that we know of as spring into summer. It's also us moving to other levels, other dimensions. A lot of us are having out of body experiences. How many of you are feeling sometimes outside of yourself? How many of you are having issues with footing and dizziness? How many of you are having special types of headaches and aches and pains or feelings and things that you've never felt before, parts of your body calling you? How many of you having changes in your relationships, shifts in your mindset? How many of you are feeling these changes? This is known as an ascension time, and we're having ascension symptoms, many of us. Now, everybody may not feel them because each person is totally individual. And we're moving to a time of becoming indivisible individuals, which creates the we-ness and the nowness of oneness, where we're all basically one great family. So you're not alone. Some of us are having a flood of ideas. Some of us can't even figure out who we are from one moment to the next. Some of us have felt like we've lost our minds. And the question is, if it was really your mind, how could we lose it? A lot of what we think is ours was given to us, passed down. Some of our personalities, our ways, the ways we talk, the way we think, the way we respond, it's given to us at another time, in another season. It's interesting because now it's popular to have the talk about consciousness and wellness and awareness. It's like it's in the mainstream now. You hear folks all the time, oh my God, I'm spiritual and I'm this. And I went on a retreat and we did this, plant teacher, and I woke up from a deep sleep. And, and folks also have kind of almost, it's like almost everybody knows this talk now. And whether they're authentic or not is questionable, because some of the people who really have it don't mention it. Some of the people who are the real original healers or the nurturers or the teachers, they may not be public, because you don't have to be public about what you do. If you just do it, you just live. We're not saying that it's not good for you to be public, but it's about being authentic. Becoming authentic. That's what this time is about. Becoming grounded in yourself, tapping in to the electrical energy that is in you. I'd like to welcome you all. I'd like to thank you all for allowing yourself to invest this time. It's very interesting because when I started just a few minutes ago, the sun was out. That's about how many minutes ago? Maybe 19 minutes ago. Right now is a full-on storm happening. I don't know if you can hear the thunder. It's so much rain, I can just barely see the trees. Minutes, seconds, a shift is happening. There's a cleansing from the sky. This weather we're having is very different. Right now, I'm in Atlanta and it's rained almost every day for weeks. The sun will be out. You go in the house or walk in the store and come back and it's a full-on storm. There's a shift. There are plants popping up out in the garden that we've never seen before. There is a chicken that is living on the property here, a natural wild chicken, not the ones from the grocery store, because they can't live on their own. They need to be taken care of. They're domesticated. This is a wild chicken. It's a male chicken that we thought it was a rooster because it has that rooster look. It's been just naturally living. And even the neighbor's been trying to catch it. I don't know what they want to do. They want to eat it. They don't like it. I don't know. I'm like, let the wild chicken live. I mean, didn't that all happen to us before, where somebody came and decided that they should just control and gobble us up? But the other day, something really interesting happens. The chicken was acting different. And it was huddled down. It was shaking. And it laid an egg right in front of me. I'm like, whoa, what the heck is going on? This is not a hen. It's a rooster. Well, it looks like a rooster. But obviously, even a rooster, they say, after it being alone for long periods of time, because there's no females around, some kind of way, all of a sudden, because of a survival instinct, the chicken laid one egg. And I could tell it was a rooster because, and I know this sounds crazy. They say it's impossible, but what do we know about what's possible and what's impossible? Because things that are impossible are just things that you didn't see yet. And I really knew it was a rooster because it walked away from the egg and just left it. The hen wouldn't have done that. But there are now hens that are walking away from eggs and roosters that are laying eggs. There are birds flying in different directions that they've never flown in. There's things happening that you have to be ready and willing to get out of your own mind, your old mind that you don't even own, to get into the new mind. And that takes getting grounded. And when you get grounded, even if you travel from one country to another, they talk about jet lag from one city to the other. If you take off your shoes, and touch the earth, your naked shoes or your whole body on the ground, it shifts your time clock. Because the time clocks in our body are based on the earth, based on Mother Earth, based on the resonance. And even you touching the earth is giving back, because we take. Just touching the earth is giving energy back, so that there is this reciprocal energy. We don't know much. Much of what we thought we knew that was supposed to be scientifically provable, it's changing drastically. Are you willing to change, or are you stuck? Summer, in each season, that change gives us a chance to get unstuck from where we were and to become now, to get into now. Tomorrow is basically tomorrow, because when it comes, it's today. And if we hold on to yesterday and we grip onto it like it's really ours, then we can't live totally in now. So this is about the season of the sun being right above us. If we're in North America or North in Europe or above the equator, this is summer coming on. And this is the time where the sun is beaming directly down on us, right through the channel of the open channel through our bodies into our solar plexus, and charges us. Our batteries get charged. We're going to get deeper into this right around before the 4th of July, or between the 3rd and the 9th of July is one of the most important times. And we're going to talk about that just in a few weeks. And that's going to come along with a big announcement. We have a music project that's being released that will be a part of the phase and the shift that is happening with the sun. So wait for that. Be ready for that. Get on our email list at elevationtime.com, our newsletter, so that you can hear what's happening. So there's so many quick changes happening and so many stories. I know a lot of you have them, and we'd like to hear them. Please, when you get on our email, you can also email us and let us know what's happening with you. What's the shift that you're going through? You see, also you can get on our new text message. We're going to be sending out text messages every once in a while for those of you who are willing to get instant messaging from us. And it's crazy how much I'm looking at it now. Look at now, all of a sudden, the rain has just about stopped. It was drizzling. And it looks like the sun may be coming out again. And we're going through this full moon, and folks are telling me their cycles and everything normally are connected to the moon, and they're off because everything is off. But once we get connected to the Mother Earth, and we detox and cleanse and let go and give homage and give thanks to the great mother and stay connected to her, hold on, that's when everything shifts. So we have a surprise tonight. A good friend of mine who many of you know, some of you don't. He has gone through a huge shift, and we're not going to have a long talk about that, because we'll have a whole show about that, about what he is experiencing. So we're going to bring him on in just a few minutes. But I'd like to ask, before we even do that, is it okay that we share some information with you that you may not have heard before? Is that okay? Is it okay if we make it a little fun tonight? And make it a little highly spirited, and have a little levity, and not be so seriously serious? Is that okay? And is it also okay if we say some things that may agitate you and shift you from the place that you've been stuck? Is that okay if we go in deep? Then good, let's go. So we're not going to do a long introduction, but this person has been a part of Elevation almost since its inception or conception. Which one is it? Inception, conception, itception, its beginnings. And he is a very special person. He's knowledgeable. He's worked very closely with me over the many, many years. He is the resident naturopathic doctor with the paperwork here at Elevation. And he just came back in town and he pops up and he's back. He's been gone out in the world. And suddenly he says, man, I'm coming back. What do you mean you're coming back? I'm going to be there. Now, this is very important that he's going to be here at this time because there's big changes happening here at Elevation. People say, well, Dr. B, where you been? You've been quiet. We're building. And sometimes when you build, you need to close your mouth and build and not be so public. So we're building something. We're creating something. And we would like all of you who are really interested in getting into some real stuff that you can really use. This is the time. We're expanding fast. It's happening to all of us. And we're all having to let go and get grounded. So right now, I'd like to bring my brother on to tell you just a little bit about what he's doing, what he's been through, and how he just all of a sudden pops back up. We didn't think he was coming back ever because he's been all over the world. So I'd like to introduce to you, if you don't know him, here he is. And if you know him, you know, some of y'all know who I'm talking about because you're putting it in the chat. I'd like to introduce once again my good brother, one of my best friends on the planet, Dr. Mahdi. What's happening, Doctor?
Hey, Doc. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, man. I'm like technically almost 24 hours. I think I actually landed at right around now, yesterday, here in Atlanta. So still adjusting to um, this realm, adjusting to the energies here, adjusting to how our sacred mother presents here. So it's been really, really, truly fascinating and I would say different for me. What Doc was sharing with you all about me just popping up here, my wife and I, we made a decision that our time abroad in Europe, that chapter had closed and it was time to, in essence, be called back home to the Americas, being domiciled here in Atlanta and also in Colombia, the Sierra Nevadas there. And so, with that decision, it was extraordinary how just things have moved and navigated over the course of these past few months for us in preparing us for this time to be here. And I had a number of my friends who live outside the United States really shocked. Like, you're going back there to the US, of all places, with all the things going on there? And my response was really simple. I was like, yes, because that's where I'm being called. That's where the work is. That's where the work is needed. And it's here in our extraordinary country where I think we're now on the precipice of an extraordinary transformation. And with such any transformation, any significant change of exponential growth, there's going to be chaos as systems are dismantled, as the elements reorganize into something that will bring about more wholeness, more unity, more alignment with the divine laws that govern this world. And so, yeah, it's been quite amazing. It's been 8 years for me um, since I left officially on June 14th, 2017. And I took my journey, to Europe. And then everything came full circle in a very interesting way for me, in that I ended up, my wife and I, our family, we ended up in Andalusia. And where I was domiciled there in southern Spain literally is the origin of what we know as the Americas today. And actually, it was a old friend, actually from Elevation, who uh, brought that into my awareness. We were communicating on social media, kind of getting caught up, and she was like, "You're where it all. You're literally in the place where it all began." And I sat there and I thought, and I was like, "Wow, she's absolutely correct. That what we know as the Americas today started with the fall of the Moors in 1492, and then the European expansion into the world and their first engagement with our indigenous ancestors here in the Americas that year of 1492, which would transform these lands. And it's very interesting when we start looking at the human story of how we are as a people, one people, as a human family, and that we've had these extraordinary shifts. If we were to look at the world from the current mapping that we have, the Far East, where we had extraordinary civilizations that rose and fell, and how that migrated into what we know as Africa and Europe, and all the great governments and nations that rose and fell. And we've also had that same expansion and collapse in the Americas of great nations and civilizations rising and falling. And it's been this cycle that we've consistently been in. And we're now in another one where we're being called back to a sense of our origin, the natural laws that govern all this. And we've built an extraordinary world, albeit artificial, on top of the real world, the earth, Mother Earth, and the laws by which she's governed. And so this past year for me was a reacquaintance with her in very interesting ways. And as Doc said, we'll get into that more in the weeks and months to come. But that transformation for myself is now what I'm so excited to share with you all. And I'm actually being instructed by our great mother and our Heavenly Father to share and impart the wisdom that they impart to me, because it's not mine. It's meant for the entire world. And we all have the potential and access to receiving that knowledge, to receiving that wisdom. But the only way we can do that is when we spend time. And it's like any relationship that we have in our lives. When we meet another human being, in order to understand them, we must spend time to learn their language, to learn who they are, how they express themselves. And it's no different with the sacred, it's no different with the divine, it's no different with Mother Earth, it's no different with the unseen. And that's where true transformation can unfold for us and true change. And so we're in an extraordinary time. And I was sharing with Doc, I texted with him earlier this morning, let him know that I had arrived last night, and that um, one of the things that was very important And this time that we're in right now, as we come upon this summer solstice, within uh, the Arhuaco traditions based there in the Sierra Nevadas in Colombia, and other indigenous wisdom from around the world, especially here in the Northern Hemisphere. This time of the year is very sacred. And there's two sacred times of the year, the winter solstice and the summer solstice. And it's during these times that we take an opportunity to reflect on everything that we have experienced, all the good that's come into our lives um, over the course of these first 6 periods or phases of what we call our solar year. And during these past 6 phases, from December 21st, the energy at that point to now, we're entering into this June 21st, summer solstice. Everything that we've experienced in this time is an opportunity for us to reflect on and collect all the good from the breath we've been given, from the element of air, the food and sustenance, our homes that has been given from Mother Earth and her resources, the water that we consume to cleanse our bodies inwardly. And as Doc was saying, yeah, it's raining here. We're at my sister's place right now up in North Atlanta. And this rain that he was speaking of, and it's truly a cleansing that takes place. And it's Mother's Earth's way of cleansing and restoring balance within herself the same way we do when we're consuming water. And so thinking about how water has shaped your life over these past 6 phases or 6 periods or 6 months, nourishing you inwardly and outwardly, cleansing you inwardly and outwardly, sustaining you. Water is the source of all life, and it's from which all life comes, and how that element in and of itself has provided for you over the course of these past 6 periods, phases, or months. And the element of fire, with the most pure ultimate source of it coming from the sun. That is the governor, along with the moon, over the elements that shape what we experience here on our great planet that we call Earth, and how she is navigating her energies. And so, how fire has shaped and blessed and brought positivity into your world over the course of these past 6 months, from the warming of your homes with heat. The very essence of your body utilizes fire to maintain your temperature from 97 degrees to 98.6. Provides a fever when there's an infection. All of this is of that element that we call fire, and how it has blessed and sustained you so that you're present now. And so this is the time to really look at all that has been given from all the sacred elements that make up creation, and each of us being an instrument of creation, how we participate in the unfolding of life. It is a time to give thanks, to reflect, to collect all that has been given and return that back to our Sacred Mother and to those spiritual governments that uh, provide what we call this physical realm. And so, as Doc was sharing, it's a very sacred, special time, and it's these two balancing times of what we call our calendar or solar year that we have opportunity to give back, to those elements and the source, which is given freely, consistently, without fail, throughout our journey as long as we're here. So that is the work that, in my preparation to come here, I had to participate in, uh, pro- providing and giving those payments back to our great mother, back to those sacred, unseen elements that govern all of life. And we're all being called to do that right now. And as you do that, you open up the door to receive more as we come to this zenith of the sun at its height. And then it begins to make its journey now into the shadow, which will be the shortest day of the year on the 21st of December when we're in the winter solstice. And so working through these cycles is a very extraordinary opportunity for us to continue to stay in alignment, stay in rhythm, and truly remember who we are and what we're a part of. So it's a very, very exciting time, and I'm just very grateful to be uh, here, called back home. I feel almost like the prodigal son returning back, and now it's time to really get to being of service and making a contribution and delivering on the work that I've been called here to do, and that we all have been called here to do on this planet.
We talked a little bit about this many times, and we've shared about this giving back because we can easily get caught up in taking me, what I need and what I'm going through. It becomes very almost selfish. And it's different from being self caring and putting yourself first. But when we give back, everything changes. So those are like, I hear you talk about those payments.
Mhm.
I was taught that just grounding it's yourself, just grounding, touching the earth is giving back.
Yes, sir.
Because we live with rubber shoes and rubber soles, and we're up on stilts most of the time, away from the planet. And just putting your naked feet on the ground, especially when the sun is high like this, is extremely important to allow that open channel of energy to
Mm.
flow through, and
Mhm.
letting go of all those ions, all that energy, all that static that we've been holding on to.
Yes.
And I was talking to one of our clients the other day on the phone, and they were saying, "Well, it's raining. It's raining." I says, "That may be the best time to take your naked what? So you can't touch the wet grass or the wet ground? Where do we
Mm.
get this thing where we're so spoiled? But touching the ground is a form of letting go of what energy that's been built up. And not only are we receiving new energy because there's a pulse code that goes up from Mother Earth into the body when you do this grounding, but
Mhm.
you're releasing into the earth. And if you do this and do it in gratitude and thank her, because they talk about the high vibration all the time. Oh, we need to have a high vibration. And what some folks have failed to be aware of is that the lowest vibration here is the earth. That's the lowest frequency. So what about mama? So we're up high vibration is more male, more me. Look at me, I'm
Mhm.
spiritual.
Mhm.
But you need the whole spectrum to be balanced. As above, so below. Microverse, the macroverse, and the microverse. Everything is connected. So just touching that earth and letting go, and the art of grounding. There is an art to it. And it's just this, it's the repetition. It's the
Yes.
prayer itself. That's a meditation itself. Even if it is cold outside, even if it's hot outside, even if it's uncomfortable. But being uncomfortable is what causes change. That's what causes alchemy. So, Dr. Mighty, can you talk a little bit about that letting go, giving gifts to the mother, even if it's just energetic gifts, and how that can help to balance our bodies, heal us, our minds, bodies, and our spirit, and reconnect us. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Absolutely, yes, sir. Our bodies, by design, are created for regiving. The simplest way I can share that with all of us here is just taking a moment of what Doc had us doing when he started with us this evening, a breath. From the first moment that we enter into this realm, nature teaches us what we need in order to be sustained, in order to thrive and flourish in this physical realm. We literally come out of darkness. We come out of the realm of the unseen from water. As I was saying earlier, all life starts with water. And upon entry here, the first thing that we must do in order to be sustained and live and express on this planet, in this realm, is we must take that first breath. It's an inhale, inspiration, and we then exhale, expiration. That exhaling, we are giving or re-giving back to the elements, back to the sacred mother, carbon dioxide, that our tree family, our plant family will transmute through alchemy and turn it back into oxygen. And it's this great exchange, reciprocal exchange of this sacred breath. And what's fascinating with it is that there's only one breath that makes up the entire planet that is eternal. We don't get any new air in this enclosed ecosystem that we call Mother Earth or we call our planet. And so that in and of itself is an exchange of the re-giving from what we have received. That's the first thing we do. The second thing we do upon entering this realm, we come out of water and we must take it back in through hydration, hopefully through mother's breast milk. And with that, we then are hydrating the body. We come out of water and we're now receiving more of that water through mother's breast milk. That not only hydrates us, but also provides the nutrients we need, the information our bodies need to build the immunity through the colostrum, build connection through this hydration. And upon receiving that hydration and that nutrification, the next thing our bodies are designed to do is to re-give again through elimination, through feces, through urine, and this cycle of receiving and giving. And it's very interesting, Doc. I was out meditating one evening and kind of having, just observing and having some conversation with the trees. Where we were living, we had these beautiful Italian cypress trees on the property. And they're like, we started as seeds. I was like, yeah. And the first thing we had to do, we had to be buried in darkness. We had to go into the darkness. And we had to grow a root system deep before we could emerge and express on the planet. And they're like, you have a seed also. You call it your brain. I was like, So that was about three something in the morning. This conversation's happening out on my terrace. Went back to bed, woke up later on, and I ran to the computer and I pulled up an image of the brain with the entire nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord coming down, and all the peripheral nerves that come off the spinal cord. And it's literally a seed with a root system. And what was really fascinating with this was that the same way these trees and every plant on every plant on this planet must go into blackness, must go into darkness and take root there before they can express. From the moment of conception, the first system that is made within us in embryology is the nervous system, starting with the nodal cord. And it becomes the brain, the spinal cord, and then the peripheral nervous system, and of course the central, the circulatory system, and the heart starts developing alongside it. But it starts with the nervous system. And what's fascinating is that literally our brain and our entire nervous system, through the spinal cord and all the peripheral nerves, are actually in darkness that we call our body. Is actually in the earth, in the soil that is the physical body. And what we're actually expressing, the same way the trees are expressing, is our personality, our contribution, and what we're showing up, how we're showing up in life. And so you never see the brain nor the nervous system, but what we do see is who you are in character, who you are in personality, who you are in behavior, who you are in contribution. And those are your branches. That's your trunk. That's your expression here. In the same way that these plants are giving through their root system, and whatever tree through which whatever lines they grow, we have our root system and the sacred lines to which we grow based on where we grew up, our families, the education around us, how we were imprinted upon by our environment. And that gives us the ability to express ourself here on the planet. But in that, it's constantly based off of your root system, and that's your nervous system, and that's your brain, and how it's been conditioned, and the quality and the health of the soil, meaning your body, in which this root system that you call your nervous system resides. And if the soil is toxic, full of parasites, full of all kinds of poisons and imbalances, that root system is limited in what it can do in expressing, in personality, in behavior, in contribution, in character, and also in the time it's afforded on the planet. And one of the things we were always discussing in medicine was that the limiting factor in the body is the nervous system, because it's the only system that is chronologically your age, meaning from the moment of conception to where you are now in your journey, and whatever phase that is for you, however you qualify that at 20 years, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, etc. It's the system that is chronologically your age. All the other systems are consistently replicating themselves and renewing. Like our blood is no more than 90 to 120 days old at any point. Our intestinal lining is no more than 7 days. It's constantly being renewed. But the nervous system is chronologically your age, and that is the limiting factor, your root system, because that's what you come here with, and that's your unique calibration, if you will. And so when you were talking about putting your feet on the earth, you absolutely are giving back, because you now are literally connecting with the form that is literally the source of who you are. Our flesh is literally derived from the earth. As we were in our mother's womb, she was extracting from the earth through the foods that she was consuming to put together the physical form. And so it's not arbitrary or by chance when we look to scripture, specifically, the traditions and myths through which I was raised, the Christian faith, when you look at Genesis, how it speaks about God forming men and women from the earth, and then breathing life, the breath of life entering into them. This body is of this planet. It has all the same elements that make up the planet in it. And when it expires, it goes back to its source. And so connecting, physically connecting, getting your hands into the earth, getting your feet into the earth is the ultimate source of honor, thanksgiving, praise, and worship, because we're now connecting back with our mother and our heavenly father through our breath as we are connecting and putting our feet into the earth and putting our hands into the earth and touching trees and being out in nature and being one with it. And we're breathing and giving this exchange holistically, comprehensively. This is how we truly show honor, truly give back. And in doing so, we receive. And then, as you were saying, you're now tapped in and you're now aligned and you're getting inspiration through breath, through thought. She's communing with you. The elements are communing with you. The angels and fairies of the forest are communing with you, telling you what your assignment is and how you can navigate and make a greater contribution. And I love the story when I read concerning the late great elder, Dr. George Washington Carver, how he would wake up at 4 in the morning and go out into the forest. And he said he would receive his instructions from the angels and fairies of the forest. And God would tell him his assignment for the day. And he would go back into the lab and start working with these plants. And they would tell them why they were created and how they could serve us as human beings and how to work with them at the highest spiritual level. This is what happens when we begin to ground and put our feet back in the earth. So our root system is now connected with the root system of the earth. And we can now become a channel like that mycelium network that Doc you always talk about that covers the entire planet. We then tap into that. And we are able to now then fully begin to receive and connect and receive that wisdom that can only come from there. And everything that we as human beings have come up with ideas and we think, oh my gosh, we're so brilliant, we're so genius, we're so amazing. All of that wisdom, all that stuff that we pride ourselves in comes from this source. And when we connect the way Doc, you're encouraging us to connect, we get access. We show ourselves worthy because we are now willing to establish relationship.
Yes. So as we connect to the earth, we're giving back, but we're also letting go. We're
Yes,
discharging all
it's,
that.
it's a yes, sir. It's a gift. It's a give and receive. Yes.
So we're discharging. A lot of folks are going through, challenging times, and when we ground repetitively, and, we begin to get in the habit of releasing
Mm,
all the energy that's stuck in our nervous systems, in our minds, the stuff that's stuck in our energy field by just letting go. This is part of the art of truly letting go. Because if you just sit there mentally and you're in your house and you're wearing your polyester clothes and you got your polyester thinking and you're listening to the news, it looks like it's getting worse and worse. There's so much going on. It's worse now than it's ever been. It's not true. It is not true that this is the end. It looks bad. It depends on your perspective. But to get a better perspective, I find that putting my naked feet on the ground or my hands in the soil changes everything
It
because
does.
it's a reset, it's a recalibration. Another thing that we find is important is to recalibrate ourselves, is to detoxify in the season. And I'd love for you to tap into a little bit about detoxification. I know you've done the detoxification program at Elevation many times.
Mhm. Many
What
times, yes.
does that do? What happens when we do something like that at a time like this seasonally?
Yes. So going back to what I was sharing earlier about the things that we receive upon coming to the planet, first thing we do is we receive oxygen. So there's oxygenation, then there's hydration. And through the hydration, we get nutrification. We get the fats, the minerals, the vitamins, the colostrum, everything for the immune system. The fourth thing we do is, as I shared, we have the elimination, the regiving through not only the breath are we regiving, but also through urine and the feces, all the things that we receive externally from mother, we extract from it and we re-give it back, if you will, as compost, so that more can be grown. And it's this continued cycle. The fifth thing is restoration. We have to sleep and restore. And so the body does its most powerful cleansing during sleep, restoration, when everything comes to stillness. And it's very interesting because if any of you have ever been awake during the times between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., there's literally a spiritual restoration that takes place, and everything is brought back into balance to prepare for the new day. And so, all that was accumulated as far as negativity was concerned, energetically, over the course of the day, everything that we've been exposed through is during this time of the evening when we're in the darkness that this healing takes place. And so, on a daily basis, there is a cleansing happening that we should be aligned with. And then there is the seasonal one. Right now, as we enter into the hottest time of the year, where the sun is at its height, this is the most, from an environmental standpoint, Doc, the most acidic time outside. The environment is acidic. So you should be consuming massive amounts of alkalizing foods to maintain the balance, to maintain the hydration, to maintain the elimination, the detoxification, and cleansing. And so if you're eating a lot of meat now that is acidifying in itself, processed foods that are acidifying, and you're not cleansing, you are disrupting the natural flow. You are out of order. And Mother Nature, the natural laws will come and collect. And it will show up in pathology. And we look at the word of pathology. Ology means the study of. Path comes from pathos, disease. But if you look at it just for the words itself, ology, study of, and path, you're no longer on your path. You're no longer on your aligned trajectory in this life. And so pathology shows up to teach you how you have lost that balance by eating things out of season, and gives you the opportunity to restore yourself. But if you don't heed the warnings that show up in pathology and cleanse and align yourself once again with the season that you're in, the environment that you're in, consuming the foods that the mother is giving to you from the land that you actually have your feet planted in, and getting as much of what she provides there. locally, you then put yourself in this path of imbalance and disorder because you're out of order. And there's one law that governs this entire universe that has been given to us by our Creator, and that one law is balance. And none of us can step outside of that and not be checked and brought back in. And so, listening to the seasons, summer, the most acidic time, winter, the most alkaline time. So therefore, you would consume more acidifying foods and cleansing foods during that time. So a lot of root vegetables, starches, these things that would help sustain you during that season. And so it's working with the flow and the rhythm. And it's one thing that's very deep, Doc, that I'm still processing through. In Mother Earth, there is no time. Time does not exist in her. Only the internal flow of the rhythm as she makes her trajectory through the cosmos and continues her cycles. But there is no time in her. She doesn't rush in anything. Everything is of its natural unfoldment and order. And we are of her. And when we step outside of the time that our minds conjure up, and we are aligned in the present, as you were teaching with us earlier in our talk, this evening, and the importance of being present and grounded in the present moment, allowing in the now, as you were saying. You're now in sync with her outside of time, and now in the eternal, now in present moment. And that's where the healing will take place, because when you're there, you know the seasons, and you know and you trust the flow, and you allow the cleansing that needs to take place. And we have to work with her. And so with the cleanse that you created, that total body para cleanse, it works within the seasons. You speak about whatever time you choose to take that cleanse, that you eat the foods that are aligned with the season you're in. You eat the foods that are local to where you are. And in doing so with the herbs, that is what flushes the body. And when you go to your rest, to your time of restoration in the evening, your liver can do what it's designed to do. Your brain can do what it's designed to do in cleansing and letting things go. Your kidneys can do what they're designed to do in cleansing and letting things go. Your lungs can do what they're designed to do in cleansing and letting things go. So upon awakening in the morning, the first two things that you will do, because your body has been aligned and doing the proper cleansing because you prepared it and given it everything it needs, you will have a bowel movement and you will have a urination. Most of us, we have urination, no problem. Many of us don't have a bowel movement until later in the day, if we even have one at all. But upon the first 2 hours upon awakening, there should be a bowel movement because your body has done the cleansing over the course of that time while you were in restoration, while your soul traveled to other realms, what we call the dream state. The body being present outside of time and aligned with the rhythm of Mother Earth is now cleansing and restoring. And so when we consciously begin to align our thinking and our behaving and the choices we make to work with these rhythms and work with these laws and do the intentional cleansing and listen to the seasons as they tell us, when it's acidifying, let's do more alkalizing foods. When it's more alkalizing, let's do more acidifying foods. And you have acidifying fruits and vegetables. But you can have a little meat during that time as well. It can be very restorative and healing. But it's all about balance and being discerning and consuming the appropriate foods in moderation with the season and using the herbs that help facilitate the cleanse. That's the work of each season. And we're given it every single day. We're being shown this through the cycle of the day. And you can literally map the seasons in the course of a 24-hour period, if you will, from the winter, which we would look at as 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. Spring, from 12 p.m. I mean, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m., 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Summer, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. when the sun's at its height, and then fall, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. So even within your day, you can align yourself with this seasonal flow. Everything is working in these cycles and in these rhythms. And the more we align ourselves with that, and the more observant we are, that's how we're able to cleanse and keep our bodies and our spirits in consistent motion and rhythm with the mother that's outside of time.
Before we let you go, I've been getting a lot of emails lately, calls, because suddenly this parasite thing is big in social media.
Really?
It's huge. So, my realization of how deep this parasite thing happened in 1996 when I had that experience.
Yes.
It was a download came to me that I didn't ask for. I wasn't trying to meditate for it. I wasn't asking for it. It was given to me about this particular situation. And I began to study parasites on a different level. And the parasites in the digestive system are your common parasites.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to a lot of the social media, folks are getting hip to this and they're saying, oh my God, all you got to get rid of your parasites is take pumpkin seeds. All you got to do is use cloves and black walnut and wormwood. And they have these things that are kind of, publicly known that can help to detoxify certain types of intestinal parasites.
Mm-hmm.
The message that came to me was that the intestinal parasites were not the ones that were causing most of the diseases. In fact, some of them actually have been useful in situations where you were super, super toxic. Yeah. In fact, we even found that there are parts of your microbiome that will create some parasites to eat up some trash, because that's what they do. They eat trash. Mm-hmm. But I had to say something because the other day I heard these brothers talking about parasites, and they were talking about, man, this is why you need to keep taking your spirulina. Then there was a sister talking about Irish moss. And, I hear folks say this and they're it's beautiful that people are researching and that folks are awakening to the power of natural medicines. But what they don't realize is that some of this information is not what you think it is. The study of parasites and microbiology is so deep. We feel that because we've taken these cleansing programs that we've heard about, and most of them are commercial. If you look at most of them, they all have mostly the same ingredients, right? That they work for every season. What we didn't know is that the indigenous people knew when to take certain herbs, eat certain foods, how to consume them, what time to take them, what rhythm, what was the section of time that they needed to set aside and use these particular, these particular natural products, these natural medicines, plant medicines.
Yes.
What I realized And what we saw in the lab, like we took, a lot of people talking about this turpentine, use turpentine. We put some turpentine in the petri dish and it killed the weak parasites, but the strong ones ate the bodies of the weak ones. I was like, turpentine is supposed to kill all the parasites. Well, is it? Or has it mutated or changed? Or is it a being that uses that to help it grow? Because these are 2.5 billion year old creatures. 2.5 year. Imagine the evolution that has happened. They're now talking about they're taking ice that they found miles down in the North Pole and the South Pole and pulling it up, and there's parasites in there alive. They're finding rocks that they crack open, and there's parasite or parasite larvae and eggs in these rocks. So we want to kill all the parasites because we heard that parasites are bad. Not necessarily. This good versus bad is a very funny thing. You got to be careful here. So killing something is what we get from the Western mindset. Kill it.
Yes.
If the gallbladder doesn't seem like it's working right, if it has too many stones, cut it out. Just chop it off. We're going to get rid of the poison. If these people are bad, we feel like this group of people are bad, kick them out. Kill them. Get rid of them. Because we feel from the perspective that wherever we're coming from, that they're bad. And we need to get rid of what's bad. You can't get rid of anything. My grandfather used to always want to scratch his toes, and his leg had been amputated because he had diabetes. He said, I can feel my toes itching. We're like, that's impossible. Your foot is gone. But now we know through Kirlian photography, the limb is still there. They call it phantom limb, syndrome. It's not gone. Energetically, it's still there. You can't get rid of some things. You could get rid of a group of parasites, right? You could kill off them and their babies, but the entities, the energy that created them is still there. The environment, the mindset is still there. So there is a way to release rather than kill. There's a way to bind. There's a way to create a flow. But the idea of I need to kill the parasites is a problem because we're not even looking at the superbugs. The superbugs are not your regular parasites. These were made for war. They've got parasites. They've got parasites and microbiology that was created during war. These are weaponized creatures. Do you think your regular parasite cleanse is going to stop them? They, for many of us, are actually controlling our vessel. They will send you. Let me tell you how deep this is. There are parasites that are so deep and so intelligent and so connected to source. They got source too. Same source you got. That will have you go take a bunch of substances to quote unquote kill your parasites so that they could eat them. Think about that for a minute. A lot of things that we're doing and we're prompted to do, especially nowadays through social media, is actually creating a space so that something else can take that space. So when we were putting together this program, when it was being downloaded to me, I realized that the intestinal parasites, yes, they can create, an issue if the population is too high. But it is the mental parasites, which are thought forms and energy forms. There's cosmic parasites. Then there is the systemic parasites that live in organs that your normal herbs can't get to, like toxoplasma in the brain. How are you going to use herbs? You tell me how cloves, black walnut, wormwood, diatomaceous earth, pumpkin seeds, all those different things are going to get to the parasite in your brain. And this particular parasite, toxoplasma, please look it up. That parasite is controlling most of humanity right now and creating opposition because it keeps you from ever getting to peak performance. It keeps us from ever getting to the point where we come together. It creates separation. It's controlling us on a whole nother level, and there's beings controlling it. So a lot of what we're doing, even in the conscious world, well, I don't have parasites because I'm a vegan. You got just as many parasites, possibly more than somebody else. You think that the parasites care if you're vegan or not? Some of them are vegan too. You switch over to a plant-based diet, they say, well, let's switch because they're parasites. They live beside you. So finding balance and creating homeostasis is a very careful thing or a very delicate thing. And what we found was that we needed to change the herbs that we use every season. You can't use the same stuff because they mutate. They can outsmart almost anything you throw at them. Also, we realized that you can't just use herbs. Herbs don't do everything. They don't cure anything. They just create a field of energy or exhibit a certain energy or have a certain amount of minerals or nutrients that causes an effect. Because really herbs are foods, you know, if they're really natural. But we found that flower essences were going to be important. I was like, flower essences? Yes. Because flower essences, not essential oils, this is flower essences. They help to reconnect us to the energy field that's coming to us from the cosmos. Because as you live this life and think the thoughts and they have the habits that you can be disconnected from the information that's coming to you. If you look at the caterpillar when it dies and it's inside of the chrysalis, the cocoon, the first thing the imaginal cells create is the antenna. Huh? Yes. So that the butterfly can receive the right message to become who it needs to become. If your antennas or your receptors are influenced or not picking up the right frequency or the right spectrum of light and sound, then you're off. A lot of our receptors are off. A lot of our antennas are off. Just the things we do to our hair and our skin changes the way you receive information and light. Just some of those polyester clothes and fake fabrics and you know what I'm saying? All of these things, fake relationships and fake up and makeup and all of this stuff changes the way you receive information. And just the information coming from, you know, these devices, just the information coming from these devices that we now figure out, we can't even live without them. Leave your phone home for a day. You could snap because you can't find your phone. You can't find your way home.
You know, Doc, is interesting. Something that you and Vashi shared this last year. I was putting together. We're preparing for the series that we were teaching last year, and I went to kind of put out. I wanted to lay out a outline for what I wanted to present on, and I sent it over to you and Vashi to take a look at. And you both came back and you were like, you used AI. And I was like, how did I know that? And you were like, it doesn't have any soul in it. And that sat with me for quite some time. And as I started getting more in touch with the origin, wisdom from which we all come, spending more time in the quiet of nature, it hit me what you all were telling me last year, that we have become so consumed with this technology, we are becoming more dependent on it than the true origin and genius that we have inside ourselves that comes from our soul. We're losing it. And that's why I was sharing with you before I came, and we were talking a couple weeks ago, and I said, we have to create analog experiences for people. because we've created an artificial world. And what's happening, and I started doing research on this, what's happening when our brains are looking at, is taking information from these screens, be it a TV screen, computer screen, phone screen. We're looking literally into a physical box that has nothing to do with this. But the brain sees this as real. And it's disconnecting from what actually is.
Yes.
And that's what you're hitting on right now. And we really have lost it. And when you said that to me, we really are disconnecting our souls, disconnecting from our souls. And the brain is now becoming more habituated by and connected to and dependent on these artificial worlds that come from these flat screens that we call computers, TVs, and cell phones.
Part of the detoxification program is to take some time away from this, to take some time away from the artificial, because they're tools. It's just like when we went from the horse and buggy to the gas powered engine. A lot of people feel that that was bad. I mean, people are not going to, connect to the horse and the animal and the nature. This is bad. This is evil because it makes things easier. But these tools should be tools and not crutches.
Yes.
So I am in the final stages of writing my book. Finally, this is crazy. I was walking downstairs because for the last couple of months I've been in the studio only. I said I got to get these music projects out, and I was walking down the steps to the studio, and my feet just stopped, and I allowed them to stop, and I said, "Let me see where they go." My feet took me back upstairs to my office, to the computer, and I opened up the file where my book is contained. And I started that at about 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, last Saturday, not this past Saturday, but the one before that. And I sat there for 13 hours. I went through 75% of the book, changing, rewriting, merging, pulling things out, changing the way I'm speaking, because I've been working on the book now for almost 7-8 years, maybe more. So my voice is changing. But I did so much on that book by staying there. All I did was drink hibiscus tea and cranberry juice. Now, every so often I had to go pee. I had to keep peeing, but I stayed there. I didn't do anything. And I went till like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I looked and I said, whoa, the book is almost done. What has been the holdup? Me. I've been the holdup. When you've been told as a child you're dyslexic. I remember when the math teacher told me I was unteachable. All of those things they say, they didn't call it autistic. Back then they said he's special. He's they would be whispering. He stutters. I had a lot of stuff thrown at me. And if you start getting into the belief of that, you get caught up. But then I began to say, well, since I'm unteachable and I'm, that means I don't have to go to school. I can sit in class and just look at the bumblebees out the window, which was that was the real lesson. But I realized that the blockage was that I was not allowing myself to tap into what was there. Then I looked and I said, well, look at the time I've wasted. And somebody said, you didn't waste any time. This was the time. So right now I'm in the final stages of this book.
Fantastic.
But I'm doing the music at the same time. And I'm like, well, I'm going to release the music on this date. I want to release the book. Why not release it all together? So we're working on something to release the music, the words and the sounds all at one time. But when I was doing the editing, up pops AI. I didn't even know I had this AI program. It was built into the computer somewhere. And it started telling me, at first it would do the punctuations and all that, periods and all that, and spell words correctly. That was great. Let me use that. Spell check. Then it said, you might try rewording this paragraph. And it
Yeah.
wrote it for me. And I looked at it. It took out things like very and most and usually and actually. It started stripping all the soul out. It was no longer my book. Now they say you can write an AI book instantly. Well, you can prompt it and tell it what. I mean, that's okay if that's your skill. That's what you couldn't do it by yourself. But where are we where everything needs to be quick and easy, and you need to have these talents that you don't naturally have, so you can put your name on it. Maybe you should say written by Hotep Billy and AI, because or maybe you need to put AI first. I don't know, but we're getting into a place where we have to find balance. You can use the tools. You can use these tools, but you have to realize that this also can become a parasite.
Yes.
And it begins to eat you alive, and you think you're better and bigger, but actually it's weakening your connection to source. Actually is cutting off the connection you have to the cosmos. Some people can't feel the way the earth is spinning faster. They have no idea when somebody else has something, that's not good for them. Some folks don't know when they meet somebody what they should expect. Somebody told me that you need to look on TikTok about dating and figure out what people are like and what's going on in the dating world and the relationship world. Let the artificial intelligence tell you who you should mate, who you should be with, what the news is, what is true, what is not true, how to think, how to move. If that's your experience, then cool. Then you can get with the fake up and be made up and realize that after a while, the computer don't need you, because you look like a toxin. you act toxic. But for those real ones, I'm talking to the real ones, it's time to keep your stuff tight, to ground, to cleanse, to detoxify. So what we've done in this particular parasite cleanse that we have now, this one didn't exist before. This is a brand new one. It even helps to deal with some of the electronic parasites. You say, well, come on, Dr. B. Yes, there's nanotechnology in all of us. You didn't have to take any jabs or anything to get it. You got it because you have programmed your cells to act like they are artificial. Your body begins to expect and accept what you keep feeding it. You keep feeding it blue light and all of these frequencies and all of these colors and these sounds, and you can't go to sleep without looking at your computer. You can't wake up without looking at your phone. You can't even get anywhere. Just turn it off sometime and go for a ride. So we're not saying don't do these things. We're saying that in order to detoxify and let go, you've got to do this all the time, constantly.
Yes.
I'm not saying cleanse all the time. I'm saying being in being in a flow where you can receive and let go. You can energize, you see, and release. That's that flow. That's what you were talking about earlier, that respiration and expiration.
Yes, sir.
So when we look at this particular cleanse that we just put together, this is something like I've never done before, because we're dealing with so many levels of parasitic entities, and some of them are not biological creatures. They're energetic creatures. You see? So this particular program that we're putting out right now, that just came online, this is the one that I was shocked because I'm being told, I'm listening to what we should add to the cleanse and what we should take out. We got to change it every season. I'm listening. I'm like, use this herb. That herb isn't for parasites. And the voice is, this is the herb. And I'll use kinesiology, muscle testing, and all that, and all of those things. But I was told to put more flower essences in, because people are going through so many psychological and energetic issues. Also use the herbs that help to rejuvenate that root system that you talked about, called the nervous system. Because it is the one that is under so much stress because of so many frequencies and so many things where we want to be approved and we want to look good and we want to make other people happy and we want to be validated and we want to be part of a group, instead of tapping into the original essence within us all. A friend of mine told me, he said, well, Dr. B, I sent you this app for your computer, man. You've been in the studio, you've been working on this music too long. This is what he told me. He said, you've been working on this stuff too long. So I got this app that you run your song through it and it'll finish it for you. It'll mix it. It will master it. I says, huh? He says, yeah, man, it's off the chain, man. It's all I'm using now, man. You can mix a song in minutes. Are you crazy? I'm analog. I will use the technology, but when you choose to really be here, because those who are connected on an analog natural realm and will use technology but not be, not have it as a tether, not let it keep you prisoner, we're going to be around, because AI can't do what you could do naturally. It can't think like you could think. It don't have that soul. And I'm
No,
glad that you're here, brother, because we are about to do more on the ground in person presentations. We just
that's
we're
what time
working
it
on, I'm
is.
not going to tell you what it is. We're working on something right now to start doing more. And the further the technology goes and the more people get what they call free stuff on YouTube and all that, we're going to be offering organic, real things with that.
Yes,
The kinesiology, the feel is there, and talk about things that we're not even going to have online, because everything online now is being read by AI. This whole program, AI is listening to every word we're saying and creating programs and agents and all of that based on what we're saying, because it's online now. So we're going to have some things where there ain't going to be no phones. We ain't going to be online. We're going to be in some sacred places at sacred times for people who are really ready to tap in and let go of some of this technology, because it becomes a parasite.
yes.
You see? So right now, for those of you who are ready to detox at a deeper level, the new elevated total body program is online. It's up right now. It's never been like this. I've never felt this energy. I've never put together something like this. And you can get a discount right now this weekend. It's the Sun. That's your discount code, the Sun, for 10% off if you'd like to
Nice.
invest in this. And also for those who are members and part of the Elevation family, on that level, you'll get 10% off as a member automatically. So that ends up being 20% off for those of you who would like to get a discount. So it's the Sun for everyone is the discount code. And lastly, I'd like to ask you to, once again, I remember when you first did the cleanse many, many, many years ago, and you just looked at me like, what is this, Dr. B? Can you
Mhm.
just give us because we only got a few more minutes to for this section. Can you give us a description of what you experienced doing the elevated total body program?
Well, I think the most shocking thing was seeing what was coming out in my stool first and foremost. Um, yeah, because it was all kinds of, and we even joked about it. Like I was saying, all kind of pimps and swaps and all kind of things were coming out that were, like I didn't realize I haven't had in my body. And then just the energy shift, much more energy. And it got to a point where I thought something was wrong with me because I was only needing between 4 to 5 hours tops. Not really even 5 hours. It's more like just 4.5 hours at max of sleep for the day. I would get very sleepy around 10 o'clock, go to bed, and I'll be up by 2:30. And I would just have energy for the entire day until next day around 10 p.m. And that was after that cleanse, I just had so much more energy. And with that, also a lot more clarity, just mental clarity. And so it was a very, very fascinating time. And I was just like, wow, okay, what's in this? And that's when, of course, I was working with you and helping with the formulas, and I was seeing firsthand, what you were putting into them. But yeah, that was life changing for me because I didn't realize I could feel that good and have that kind of energy. And of course, doing the cleanse was the foundation, but also everything you were recommending in the book as far as what I needed to do in my life. Avoiding, like looking at assessing my relationships, kind of clearing out people who energetically just had negativity around them, or I was just experiencing negative uh, circumstances with them, and start clearing those situations from my world. And of course, moving my body a lot more. And yeah, those are like the key things that really helped transform me during that time. And this is wow back, 2003. So so that was quite some time ago. But I think the big things were, what was coming out in my bowel movements, in my stool, and then afterwards, just the energy, the powerful amount of energy that I had going on afterwards.
So the flow, that electrical flow, which can easily be blocked by toxins, but
Hmm.
toxic activities too. That is important to get a flow, that flow state, because we get stuck, we get in habits. Somebody told me, well, Dr. B, I'm really healthy because all I eat is quinoa every day. I said, well, how do you cook it?
Hmm.
They said, well, I boil it nice. I said, well, do you ferment it? They said, well, no. I said, well, did you know that if you don't ferment quinoa, then there are things in quinoa called lectins
Yes.
that will attack your microbiome, cause issues digesting. What do you mean fermented? You're supposed to let it sit, put it in water. Some people put a little vinegar in the water or let it sit. Look up how to ferment quinoa, because these indigenous people, they ate these foods, but they knew how to
Prepare 'em.
prepare them.
Yes, sir.
Tomatoes, the skin and the seeds are toxic. So you're trying to eat this lifestyle that you heard was really great and healthy, but it's not just the lifestyle, it's also how you prepare the foods. So in the booklet that you get with the program, I talk about lectin foods and some ways that you can prepare these foods, even though you think that being all plant-based, because that's the buzzword, plant-based, is the thing. Even some of these foods that, what is it? We're trying to make a burger out of a bunch of vegetables. What is it? Some of these foods are more toxic than the actual original thing that you're trying to get away from. So we have to be careful. So there's a nutritional guide in the booklet. It tells you exactly how to do it. And this is the best time to do something like this. This is the best time to tap in to that flow state by getting rid of the things that possibly could be hindering you. And like we said, it's not just herbs. It's flower essences, it's essential oils. There's also magnetic resonance that we're using. There's sound frequencies, and there's a process that we use to actually create an environment. By creating a beautiful environment in the body, it's not necessarily killing anything. It's changing the energy, doing transformation. This is a transformational alchemical program. That's why it's different. So we've got certain parts of this are just for the male energy. Some is just for the female. We have a product called Sacred Womb for the women. For the men, it's Timeless Man. If you don't detoxify your liver, kidneys, and spleen at the same time, you're just pushing waste from one area to another. Also, when you're really dealing with parasites, you got to be careful because they're going to put ammonia gas in your system. So you need some L-ornithine and L-arginine. Those things help to, pull out some of that gas. So we have this product called Tranquility that you use before you go to bed to help you sleep. Because some folks don't sleep good with all this gas in their body, and their body's going through a war. You see? Then there's New Life, which has nutrients. And one thing about most cleanses is they don't give you nutrients. You've got to do both. You've got to cleanse and also give your body nutrition. You see? And what makes the total body paracleanse, that takes it to another level, is the mushrooms, the mycelium. There's 12 medicinal mushrooms in this particular thing called the Master Mushroom Tonic that's in this program. Mushrooms can go much farther because they can recognize DNA that's not yours. They can recognize energies and entities that are not yours, that don't match your natural biofield. That's why we use the mushrooms in the elevated. Now, there is a total body. It doesn't have the mushrooms, and it also doesn't have the vitamin C tonic. And as you know, we don't make vitamin C. And the best vitamin C is not going to be acidic. So, using baobab, using camo berries, using things like that are fruits that are alkaline fruits that they will become, some of these things are alkaline, but they're acid forming. Some things are acid, but alkaline forming. Food is a very special thing. And just because you're eating alkaline all day doesn't mean that alkalinity is ever going to reach your blood, because your body knows what to do. You're drinking alkaline water, and you really think that this alkaline water, too much alkalinity could take you out. Is that right, Brother Marty?
Alkalosis. Yep. The extremes are alkalosis for alkalinity and acidosis for acidity. And our blood needs to maintain a pH of 7.35 to 7.45, slightly alkaline. If it exceeds that, you enter into alkalosis and you can die. If it falls below that, you enter into acidosis and you can die. So it's very important that you maintain that. And the extracellular fluids are going to have a slightly more alkaline state. And that's what we want to make sure that the extracellular fluid and intracellular fluids are alkaline. The urine needs to be more aligned on the acidic side, saliva as well. And so even the skin needs to be slightly more acidic than alkaline. And so if you're disrupting that by just consuming these high concentrations of alkalinity in water, like 9.5 pH, 10 pH water, and and you're consuming that over and over again, you actually are disrupting that homeostasis, that balance that the body has to maintain. And so we can't just, because it's the in thing or the fad now, and it becomes a trend word. Oh, I got to do alkalinity or I have to be alkaline. That you end up creating imbalance in your body instead of maintaining the homeostasis and balance that it's designed to hold.
So the body is intelligence, basically what you're saying. It knows what to do with what you're giving it. Is that
Yes.
right? Even if it's
Yes.
toxic.
Even if it's toxic, however, and this is the thing too, that because we're not we're not just the physical form. We're not just our body temples. There's a consciousness occupying this space. And there's also, as you were just so eloquently, breaking down, this gut microbiome, these other beings that co-inhabit this space that have a profound impact on the consciousness that we are as well. And so we work in synergy and in harmony with each other. And we all have responsibility to maintaining this host that we call our bodies. So we have the ability to be here in space and time and be able to matter, literally matter here on this planet. And so when we are doing, trusting in the wisdom of the body to heal itself, but sometimes we can have a situation where the body over responds, a hyper reactivity. And a perfect example of that would be someone going into anaphylactic shock because the body is now responding with an over inflammatory response to something that wasn't right in it, some allergy. And so that in and of itself can cause your death. And so we have to make sure that we are working consciously, physically, and every aspect that makes up who we are as a whole are all in tune, all in synergy with each other.
Wow. Well, thank you, my brother. We will be announcing some new products. I'm so glad that you're back. Some new offers. And one of the things that we need to do is make more offers as people.
Yes. Yes.
Make more offers. A lot of times we're talking about what we don't have and what we didn't get. We haven't made enough offers, enough offerings, even to nature. We haven't made enough offers. We haven't shown up like we could show up. So it's about this time we're going to be doing more, in-person offerings. So I'm glad that you're here. You're right on time, brother. And we're going to talk in the next few days to start scheduling out some things. And one good thing about you is that, see, I'm an artist. I'm a creator. So when it comes to details and business and all that, I may not be the best. That was one of the things that you always brought to Elevation. You would break out these charts and what we should do and the date and the time, because you're able to use that side of your brain sometimes. And that side of my brain might, it might just be, claymation right now, because I used to eat a little clay.
Yeah, that's the researcher. That's the investigator and researcher in me. Always like I love it, and
Yes.
just to basically be able to investigate it, look at it, how it needs to be laid out, and kind of look at the overall big picture, and then bring that to you, and you bring your magic and creativity to it, and
Yes.
we have something that's beautiful. Yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely have to shut it down, Doc. My body thinks
Yes.
it's three
You
in the
go.
morning.
You
Yeah.
take care, and we'll talk soon. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
brother. And
Yeah.
travel light, man, and get grounded.
Yes, sir. Definitely
You take
will.
care. All
Thank
right.
you all. It was a blessing to be here, and I'll see you all soon. All right. Peace.
So yes, we're going to start winding this down here ourselves here. We have some new folks who are actually working with Elevation. One of them is online. Her name is Asha Blue. Asha Blue. She is now part of the Elevation family. She brings a very special element. She's a medicine woman from way back. She's been here many, many lifetimes. So she'll be doing some presentations also soon. She deals a lot with the subconscious mind, and also she deals with she's like she's got a lot of talents, lots of talents. And there's a few other people who will be introducing who have come to the family. And if you feel like you've got some skills and you'd like to show us what you do, we're looking for some possible writers. If you're a writer, we need somebody that can write in the world of wellness and not just go. So, well, I had somebody not too long ago to go, let's see what you can do as a writer. I'm a great writer. And they sent us some papers that you knew this was AI. You didn't write this. We want organic folks who got some flavor, who got some soul. So if you got some soul and you've got something to offer, then this would be a great place and a great time for you to come and possibly, we're not choosing just everybody just because you say you do something. you know we've got a bunch of new products that are coming out. Not some of them not physical products, but they're offers. There's classes, there's workshops. We hear that Brother Rich is being doing something on the 28th of this month, and I think they're going to be walking up Stone Mountain. We may be making an announcement for that Sunday. I think that's a Saturday, the 28th, when they're going up the mountain. We may be doing something in Atlanta on the 29th. We're not sure yet. We're looking for, just the right space to fit into. So make sure you're on the email list because we will be emailing that information. And there's some classes and some workshops that are being created, especially for entrepreneurs. Especially for entrepreneurs. We got a lot of entrepreneurs out here, and there's things that we can share that we haven't even thought about. But right now, what we're saying is if you begin to detoxify your body at this time, it's going to be long lasting because of the change we're going through and the shift we're going through, and it begins to reorganize your cells. So we're offering that elevated total body program right now, and the total body program is at elevationtime.com. Use the discount code the sun, all one word, and you'll get 10% off up until Sunday at midnight if you'd like to engage in that. It's a very, very different type of program. It's not just a cleanse, it's also something that gives you, nutrition. It helps with your outlook and the mental parasites and spiritual parasites. This is the first time in this last year that we have figured out how to detoxify from mental and spiritual parasites, especially the electrical ones, the ones that work on vibration, they work on energy. Some of the stuff that you've taken in from friends and family, some of the things that people next to you and touching you, and it's not, we're not saying don't go, get a glass tube to live in. We're saying that every once in a while you've got to detoxify and let go. Every once in a while we've got to learn how to make love out of the things that are not love. What do you make love out of? What are the ingredients? You see, sometimes you've got to look at the opposite and do the alchemy and change what you think is bad and negative and disagreeable and turn that into what you like and use it as fuel. Using it as fuel. This is very important. This whole thing about the perfect earth and everything is going to be beautiful, it doesn't exist. Everything is changing constantly, up and down, back and forth. And our nervous systems are being, tested. So that's why we created this product, Heaven on Earth. Heaven on Earth helps you to relax and rejuvenate your nervous system. This one is like it's helped me personally because, like I say, originally Most of these products that we have were created for an issue that we were having personally. So this particular Heaven on Earth, I made this originally for my mother. She was having MS symptoms at the time, and she would have, her muscles would twitch, and she would be in pain a lot of times. So we created this to help relax her body, but not make her sleepy and drowsy. So that's what this is about. Heaven on Earth is to help to negotiate and to balance the anxiety and stress that we're all dealing with. A lot of folks are dealing with it every day right now. Every single day. I was over at Michael Beckwith's spiritual center in Los Angeles one year. And, I was passing out Heaven on Earth to the staff because they were under a lot. They were going through a lot of changes. And they asked me, could I make a 5-gallon bottle and put this on the water dispenser? I'll never forget this. He was like, yeah, man, that'd be a good idea. I'm like, 5 gallons and people could just drink this all day long. I said, well, that would be too much because then we overdo something. It's all about balance. But Heaven on Earth helps to create heaven on earth. It helps to take what you call hell in the drama and relax you so you can see what things are really like. And you won't be so reactive with people. You're not ready to go off and cuss them out and snap. Some folks will just be saying, wow, I'm wondering where all that energy is coming from. And maybe you should try a little Heaven on Earth. So this is a very, good thing at this time as we go through these challenges and changes. Heaven on Earth. So that's at elevationtime.com. And Iron Essential is very important because we're all iron deficient. Iron is important to carry oxygen and nutrients to your cells. If you don't have enough iron, you're not going to be strong enough, bold enough, and have enough confidence and courage, because we're that's why we believe in so many things. We just get caught up in all these belief systems and these philosophies, and we just float with whatever they pump us up with on social media. We believe it. Iron can help you tap into truth because you become more grounded, more strong, and you can tell, well, something's off with this. Something's off with this person because you got more iron. Iron deficiency is huge in North America because there's very little in the soil. The plants don't have it. A lot of people say, well, you take nettle. Nettle will do it. Well, if your nettle's from Oregon or from Washington, it doesn't have the same iron that the nettle that comes from the Caribbean or from North Africa and around the world where the soil is more rich. Yes, nettle is supposed to do something, but depends on what soil it's in. And I've been saying this for many years as an herbalist. A lot of times you'll hear that an herb does something. That herb only does something if it's in nature, if it's naturally grown, if it's wildcrafted, if it's growing on a farm and they've got these rows and they're feeding it water at a certain time and they're controlling it just to sell it to you. It's a con, right? Then a lot of times that herb doesn't have the power that it had, or like even with cinnamon, like this is cinnamon right here. This is cinnamon Ceylon. So you keep hearing that cinnamon helps with diabetes. Well, it could if it was cinnamon Ceylon or true cinnamon, which only truly grows naturally in Sri Lanka. Or the old name of Sri Lanka was Ceylon. It's all cinnamon. The average cinnamon that you're using is not it's not the healing cinnamon. It's a different plant. If you're using olive leaf is very, very good for helping to balance your nervous system. That's one of the original types of, immune system boosters. Olive leaf. Where did your olive leaf grow? What time of year did they pick it in? What truck? Who drove the truck to the place? Who picked it? Who cut it? When did they cut it? What season was it being, cut and harvested in? Who harvested it and why? What was their concept? Was it kept in plastic containers? A lot of the stuff is picked and they throw it in plastic containers. Now it's got microplastics on it. So it is the thing. It is olive leaf, but it's not the natural olive leaf. The natural olive leaf, y'all, the one that was studied and has all of the research behind it, North Africa. Very dry environments. It has to struggle to live. That's the one that has the energy that we're talking about. The ones that just grow, because there's olive leaf growing in almost every city. Along the streets, they planted them. It has some power, but it's not going to be like the olive leaf or even the olives or the olive oil from North Africa, from Morocco, and those places. You see, some of the things that we use, we pick them very carefully. We're just not using the herb because somebody said it was good. It might be good if it was in its natural habitat and you were, collecting it consciously and you were aware of all these things, aware of the season, all of these things. So everything that we use in our products, they're selected very carefully. There's times I'll get a package of herbs and I'll just smell it and feel it. And I say, let's send it back or let's throw it out. It doesn't have the right energy field, because an energy field, you have to be extremely sensitive. You see? And that's why, I say even with parasite cleansing, a lot of these things, okay, it might get rid of some of your intestinal parasites, but it's a whole nother level and a whole nother study of this. If you go deep and not just, I know how to use herbs now. I know how to cook some herbs in the kitchen. What temperature are you cooking your herbs at? Some of them not even supposed to be cooked. Some of them you have to use alkaloids and just pull the alkaloid that will get to use alcohol so that you can pull the alkaloids out. When do you use alcohol versus water? When? Some things you have to extract using vinegar. Some things have to be fermented before you actually open up the energy envelope inside them. So it's cool that everybody has access now and everybody can order everything on Amazon. But what are you really getting? Would you like the best? Do you feel like you deserve the best? Do you feel like you like the highest quality? Are you ready to truly invest? And you can always tell things that are of a higher quality usually because the price is different. If you're looking for the discount and the deal and the super saver and the half price, get one and get 12 free. I mean, you're getting something. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm saying right now it's about quality, not quantity. It's about getting the best you can. The best relationship you could have sometimes is the one that's right in front of you. But if you keep looking for something else better and you're not loving the one you're with because you've got an idea about how they may hurt you, what could happen, what happened in the last relationship, then you may not be taking advantage of what's right in front of you. Take advantage of what's in front of you. Platinum will help you recognize what's in front of you because it helps to decalcify the pineal gland. Actually, it helps to energize the pineal gland. It also helps with peak performance. It helps to increase life expectancy. Life expectancy has to do with what you expect out of life, not what they told you that you should expect out of life. Like they say, 75 years old or 80 is the life expectancy of the average, blah, blah, blah. Who's telling you that? You got to figure out what you expect out of life, not let somebody else. That's artificial intelligence right there. Artificial intelligence was around way before computers. It was convincing you to believe something based on these statistics. And where are they getting these statistics from? I remember I took I can't even say the word now, statistics class, and they were making them up. They said we could make up these and market them. This is what a lot of companies and corporations do. They know you want to see graphs and colors on the chart. And you believe it. It don't even feel right. If it don't feel right, then it's not right because your gut feeling is off. Your gut feeling is also connected to your pineal. Your pineal is the one that sees energy. It sees things before they happen so that you can seize the moment. This is the one that really helps with that pineal. It has humic acid, fulvic acid, oxyfulvic acid. It has these 5 plants that are really amazing plants that some folks have never even heard of them, like 5-leaf or gynostemma. Those things that actually help to elongate and repair your telomeres. And your telomeres are telling your body how old you are based on how you act and what you eat and the amount of stress you're dealing with. Your body begins to age if you believe all the stuff going on in the news. You're aging. The body's saying the environment is bad. There's no fun. There's no intimacy. There's no connection. There's no orgasm. There's no use. It's just terrible because I keep looking at the news and the news ends up being the noose and it hangs you and causes you to have a life expectancy based on what you see around you. Also heavy metals. This helps to detox the body from heavy metals. You want to do a little research? Look at heavy metals. That's a very special thing. And yes, you can eat some people. Somebody says, well, cilantro. Take cilantro to detox your heavy metals. Listen, most of your cilantro is coming from a farm that they force fed. You understand what I'm saying? If you knew what nutrients they were using in the farm, a lot of these, even herbs, are being grown in soil that is basically created by drugs. Brother Eugene from Grow Where You Are, go check him out. He talks about how a lot of the soil that commercial plants, even herbs, are now becoming commercial plants. The way they're grown, they use drugs in the soil, literal drugs. What do you think? Fluoride is a byproduct from how they make not pesticides, but how they make, what do you call it? Plant food. Huh? Fluoride. The largest fluoride mine I think it's in the world, is in Florida. I think it's in Orlando. What's happening with the fluoride? One of the most toxic things on the planet. And they put it in your water. Put just enough in your water to convince mama that she needs this to make her children be healthier. Huh? We accepted this. And they knew this would dumb people down and keep people on the farm. You ready to get off the farm? You're going to need to find some plants and some nutrients and some food that's grown in natural soil. I can tell you right now, most of the cilantro that I have tested will not get rid of any heavy metals at all, because it itself it's been commercialized. It's been domesticated. It's been made to grow out of season. And where did your cilantro come from? Which cilantro are they talking about? It's not all cilantro. Like, you can't say all black people or all women or all white people are a certain way. You can't say all anything, because there's always exceptions to the rule, but you need to find the sweet spot. That's what the research that I have done is. I'm always looking for the sweet spot. I'm looking to feel it, just not hear what I was told about this particular product. It's because I got an herb book. Some of this stuff will have you just, even like I say, herbs, we think that they're the most healing things. Some herbs can make you sick. How much to take, when to take, how to take is very important. So we take time and select these things so that we can focus our lives on what we choose. And if you're a little off on your focus is a really beautiful brain tonic. Focus. These are available at elevationtime.com. And the one I was looking for, X Factor is for virals and viruses and virus type activity. I'm looking for, it's not here. That's old. Okay, yeah, that's something else. Passion. We got to become passionate. Y'all ready to become passionate? Become passionate. We got a product called Passion. Do I have somebody here? Yeah. People say, well, Dr. B, where you get your passion from? Well, sometimes I don't have it. I need a supplement. So we created this thing called Passion, which is an aphrodisiac. Doesn't make you want to get all, horny and sex. It's about ready to make love with your heart. Get your head and your brain in alignment. Because if your heart and your brain are not in alignment, usually that brain and that consciousness and all the ego is going to get your heart confused, because you're thinking. And you're thinking and you're looking for gold, when we must realize that we are the gold mine. It is what we're looking for. That's where the treasure is in each of us. We all have it. We are it. We don't have to go so far. But we have to also look at this whole thing where we're being given the easy route all the time, the easy button. Just push the button. Push the easy button. I was at the Staples the other day, and they had the easy button that you could buy the easy button. You just hit it. It doesn't really do anything, but it reminds your subconscious that things could be easy. And they could be, once we get out of the struggler's mindset. Once we stop going to the strugglers convention. Once we stop thinking that everything is against us and there's an enemy out there. The most powerful enemy is in us. It's within us. So when we detoxify with this program, the elevated total body program. It begins to divide what's ours and what's not, what's endogenous, what's exogenous, what's coming from us and what's coming from the environment, how you divide it, how you can create a force field around your body, a force field around your emotions and your feelings, so that you can allow yourself to be your best self by getting rid of what's not yours. And a lot of what we have gained is not yours. It is not yours. So please join us at elevationtime.com. Get on the email list. Please join the email list, because a lot of the things that we're going to be offering will not be in the social media world. Some of it will be just to private, to a small group of people who are on our email list. Also, members will get special things that nobody else gets. So there's some recipes there, there's some book choices, and there's some videos. There's a group of videos about aliens. Y'all got to check this out. So it's a 4-part series that I created about aliens, and I have dealt with that subject really deeply, and I actually have met what you call aliens. This is not something I heard about and read about. So you're dealing with somebody who has been, I've had some really deep experiences, and you're having them too. You may not even realize that there may be aliens in you. Some of your thoughts are aliens. Some of your foods are alien. Some of us have become the parasites that we're trying to get rid of by creating so much division. And a lot of folks feel like they got to talk about how bad, how good their product is, and talk about how somebody else's isn't good. Why do we do that? We were taught that. We were taught that to market ourselves. We need to talk about how bad other people's stuff is. That's minding somebody else's business. Mind your business and business your mind. Do your very best. Do your very best. Stop looking for validation from others. Begin to validate yourself. Give yourself permission to be your best self. Give yourself permission to elevate yourself. Give yourself permission to step outside of your comfort zone. And as you begin to step outside of your comfort zone, you'll go to a place that's a new place. When you're afraid of the dark, then that's where everything comes from. You take that seed and put it in the dirt, as Dr. Mahdi said, it's in the dark. The best stuff is created in the dark. But if you're afraid of the dark, you got an issue. If you're afraid to be what they call alone, you got challenges. If you're afraid because they told you to be afraid, then you're going to get caught up in that whirlwind. The change is happening now. We're seeing some of the greatest changes, not just what they're telling you about in the news, because usually what they're telling you to look at, something else is going on. People are awakening like they never have, because the earth is speeding up. So get out there and do some grounding and releasing and letting go. Some of these relationships that you've had that you feel you have to be in, and you're just acting, right, to be a part of that system because you don't want to be by yourself. You may need to break out, because these things are falling. The system is breaking down and a new one is being born. Are you ready for that? Are you ready and willing to be uncomfortable for a minute? Because nature will make you uncomfortable. It will cause it. And being uncomfortable sometimes is good. Put your naked feet on the soil, even if it's wet and muddy. Release and let go. And learn that you are a part of an orchestral system. You're an instrument in the orchestra of life. You are music. Everything is a part of this orchestra called music. We've got new music coming up soon. A brand new project. Yeah, I know a lot of you like the song I Allow. There's a new version of it that will be on this new project that's, oh my gosh, this is a whole nother level. So just know that music and vibration is everything. The plants are all vibrating. Everything is part of an orchestra, a cosmic orchestra. What you say and what you do has to do with your song. What are you singing? What are you believing? Don't think that just because you're a vegan, you're a breatharian, that you're better than anybody. Get into we. We're all part of a family. We're all on this earth at the same time. So let's let go of some of the judgment, some of the anger. Let go of some of that disagreeable past by grounding and breathing. Maybe get into meditation, yoga, martial arts, walking, singing, loving. And when you get a chance to live each day, live it like it's the last day. Because this is the last days, but it's also the beginning of a new world. Much love to you all. Thank you very much for this time. Go to elevationtime.com. Join the newsletter. Also, we have a new text system that you can join up, so you'll receive special text about what's going on and some special offers that will only be sent by text. So you can join that now at elevationtime.com. And once again, if you'd like to get the discount for the products or everything on the website, you know, the discount code is the SUN, 10% off of $99 or more. It's good until Sunday night at midnight. Happy cleansing, joyful loving, peaceful makings that you create. Don't wait for peace. Become the peace. Become the change. It's your time if you decide. Much love. We're going to take you out with a little music. And what is this? This is a track called I Am Home, which is a part of our new project too. I Am Home. Be home within yourself. Be grounded within yourself. This is the time to take in the sun and be home. Much love. See you in a minute.